New Thought Media Network proudly presents Having Courageous Conversations, where real talk dives deep. Each week we go beyond surface talk. We open our hearts, speak our truths, and dive into the stories that shape us. No scripts, no filters, just powerful, unforgettable conversations about life, purpose, healing, and truth. Join the conversation, because your voice belongs here. Please like, share, and subscribe. Check out our YouTube channel at Having Courageous Conversations or email us at yourshowyourvoice@gmail.com. Now, let's have a courageous conversation.
The views and opinions of our guest and hosts do not necessarily reflect those of New Thought Media Network, or any organization we may be affiliated with. Here at New Thought Media Network, we welcome freedom of speech and courageous conversations. There are many topics that can be difficult to navigate. Challenging the status quo and engaging in lively debate is important to expanding our understanding of one another, and life in general. Creating a peaceful world doesn't happen because no one disagrees, it happens from a willingness to understanding one another. In our programming, we strive to expand consciousness and assist people in creating remarkable lives. Your comments are welcome at info@ntmedia.org.
Welcome to today's episode of Courageous Conversations. Having Courageous Conversations is a heartfelt, spirit-led online series where we explore the transformative power of honest dialogue. Rooted in authenticity, compassion, and spiritual awareness, this show invites voices from all walks of life to engage in meaningful conversations. Many times, conversations we often avoid but deeply need to be having. I'm Cheryl Rogers, and I am delighted to be here with you and with my wonderful co-host, Mark Dupuis. And together we will be guiding this conversation with Elizabeth Gaal, our wonderful guest speaker, who Mark is going to introduce you to.
Thanks, Cheryl. So awesome to be here. Welcome, Elizabeth. Elizabeth has been a long-time Reiki master, attunement practitioner, yoga and meditation teacher, massage and energy therapist, as well as facilitating yoga and healing retreats in Mexico and being the owner and facilitator of a private retreat in Nova Scotia. In June of 2021, during the global pandemic, Elizabeth's life was derailed with a diagnosis. Follicular lymphoma that metastasized into aggressive B-cell lymphoma in her abdomen started in between the kidneys. Now, after chemo and radiation, Elizabeth is cancer-free. Yay! However, the treatment left her with some new health obstacles. In the last 4 years, she has had over 17 surgeries to manage the damage that chemo did. This has given her the opportunity to learn how to embrace and thrive in uncertainty, meeting each moment with open arms and heart, as well as cultivating a deeper inner listening to the small voice within. Cheryl, you're Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us today, for agreeing to be vulnerable and share your personal experience with Cheryl and I and a vast amount of other people. Welcome.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to share. And I really feel honored and excited and a few butterflies in the tummy. So this is all good, right?
Absolutely.
Where would you like me to start? Do you want me to Marg,
Did you want to share your feelings? Did you want to share about how the diagnosis or the treatment or wherever? It's wherever you would like to start.
Okay, well, what my experience has been over these last 4 years, when I was in treatment, it felt like I was really taken care of and held in the medical system. And for me, it seems now that I'm post-cancer and 4 years later, these past 2 years have been really challenging, 2 to 3 years. It feels like I'm on my own, because I had the support, like a lot of support in the hospital going through the treatment. And then the treatment, it's great, it left me cancer free, but it did some chemical damage to my bladder. And the interesting thing is there wasn't even any cancer there. So anyways, I've had to have these surgeries every 3 months over the last 4 years. And that's been for me really challenging because of all the anxiety going into surgery, not even so much the procedure, but the anesthesiologist, because every time it's a different one and they're using different drugs. And so with these surgeries, I would prepare myself for one, go through it, and then I'm back home again and I have to recover. And so it's like I could never move forward because every time I started feeling good, I would be knocked down again. So I got the wonderful delight and experience of dealing with a lot of anxiety, a lot of doubt, lack of motivation, constant pain, and feeling paralyzed and overwhelmed before medical appointments or the surgeries. I was questioning my inner wisdom. I had a lot of doubt, and when the waves of uncertainty of not knowing what's next, or am I going to have to do this the rest of my life, all of these questions, it would just paralyze me, and I was exhausted. And that was going on in my inner world. In my outer world, I seemed pretty good. I was moving forward. And one thing that really helped me too is I'm a long-time yoga practitioner and teacher. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it says you cannot control the outcomes, but you can control your attitude and your alignment with right action or with Dharma, as well as not having attachment to the outcome. So another thing here was I was also, what my surgeons were wanting to do, I didn't agree with, and still don't. So I had to reclaim that connection with my intuition and my inner guidance and try something that is against the norm for in the medical world with my particular situation. And that's been really challenging for me because it's taken a lot of energy for me to go against the system. But if I didn't, I felt there would be a self-betrayal because I wasn't honoring myself. So now I decided last October I was going to take these tubes out so I didn't have to have them replaced every 3 months. And I had a lot of fear with that because, of course, my kidneys maybe wouldn't work. I could go septic. So there was all of that. But anyways, here I am now, how many months later from October, and it was a little bumpy. but my blood work is stable and my kidneys are stable. So I feel my strength coming back, and I have learned a lot of lessons along the way with that Gita about I can't control the outcome, but I can control how I respond. And so that's what I'm hoping to share today, is just, some of the tools that I used, and also my definition of thriving in uncertainty. I would like to share that if you're interested in hearing it.
Absolutely. Cheryl, I think you're on mute, but absolutely we want to hear. And I have 2 questions for you. One is, when you said you had the opportunity to have all these experiences, is that a bit tongue in cheek? Because you just
yeah, delight and opportunity. So
yeah.
I caught that same question, Mark.
So yeah. So tongue in cheek, or like I think there was the journey maybe to get beyond, like, holy shit, this is happening, and to actually have the experience of, you had the opportunity. And the other one was doubt. You talked about doubt, and the doubt was with question, doubt in the medical system, doubt in yourself, your body, or whatever. So I have those questions, and so I'll be quiet now so you can go with the flow and take it on.
I use the words doubt, okay, I'll start with doubt. Doubt in the medical system for my particular situation. So that's where the doubt is there. I highly regard my medical team. I appreciate her and all her tools, and for bringing me as far as she could. I still want her to keep me on the radar, because I don't know what's coming tomorrow. So I'm grateful for her. And then self-doubt is this really going to be okay for me to have these tubes removed? So it's really then cultivating that trust and faith, which is, it's a daily practice for me. And then the language I use about delight and I don't remember what the other one was. Opportunities. Yeah, well, I feel all of this has been an opportunity for me to grow and learn. And I use the word delight rather than, I do use a lot of other words too.
Thank you.
There's a time and a place, and my partner, Larry, he has seen me in, I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired. But at the same time, I don't know what it is about me. I'm more of glass full than glass empty. So sure, I get angry. But really, a lot of times I'm just hurting myself because I don't want to feel the anger, because then my body is stressed. And not saying I don't feel the anger, I do feel the anger, but usually for me, underneath the anger is the fear. So if I can go to the fear and the grief, and then, the grief is under there. So usually through this journey is I would feel the grief, because for me, that was at the core, because I'm letting go of so many ways that I knew I used to be.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that you said something about, for you, underneath the anger is fear. And I think that's for everyone. Angry people are coming from a place of fear. So I just wanted to share that, just from the books that I've been reading and things like that. And I love your honesty about that. It's both and. How you appreciated the medical system, and then at a point, you followed your intuition, basically. And so I'm keen to hear what that alternative was.
The alternative that the medical system wanted?
That you wanted, what they wanted and what you did.
Okay. For the last 4 years, I don't like to use the word fighting, but I've been very determined not to have my bladder removed. They've been wanting to remove my bladder and put tubes and bags on the outside. So I believe that my body could heal. I believe quantum medicine and yoga practices, meditation practices, energy work, therapy, all of that. And it took a lot of energy. I realized after 4 years how much energy it took for me to hold on to my body parts. Now, having said that, down the road, if it needs to be that, if my kidneys aren't functioning, then that may be an option. But right now, I'm having good quality of life. I feel strong and healthy. And not having those tubes, they call them stents, but I call them tubes, flopping around in there, and they were causing me a lot of pain every day. And other things, it was like having a urinary tract infection. So I don't have that now, so I'm really pleased that I had the strength to trust myself. At the same time, like in the Gita, I don't have attachment to the outcome. I don't know where this is going. Down the road, my kidneys may need some extra support, but not today.
Right. Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think also, that's one of the teachings in unity is to having faith, right? And we often discuss what does that mean. And you trusted your faith, because what faith means is not knowing what the next step is, but taking it anyway, right? And I have a cold, so just forgive me.
Oh, I'm just going to jump in here too. And Elizabeth, I really appreciate that you said it was both this and that. I see you as a teacher. I know you have certificates and degrees maybe in what you practice, but I mean a life teacher. You're coming to us with your experience, and you had these obstacles, you had these, I'm going to call them challenges. You faced them, you felt what you felt, and you were able to see a bigger picture. You were able to have a vision, and you shared both of those sides with us. And I really trust when a teacher speaks to me in that way, because it feels real, that being human, there are different emotions, right? So I thank you.
And I wanted to share, because this is my belief, and it's not everyone's, but I believe, and I don't really talk about, this is courageous conversations, right? So here goes. I believe that my soul, before I was in my physical form, made these decisions of how things are going to unfold. So I believe the diagnosis of cancer is something that I already agreed to in my life previous, and that I needed to clear something, whether from other lives or whatever, so that I can learn these lessons and move forward with a greater sense of purpose and wisdom, I believe. What was I going to go with this? So even when I got the diagnosis, like I was actually, and I have never said this out loud other than in my own head, I felt blissful. And only in the last month has it dawned on me why. And I feel it's because my soul I was connecting deeper to my soul. that this wasn't a bad thing. This was part of my journey. And I feel whenever I am aligned with my soul or my source within, that I feel more bliss. I'm still having the human experience because I'm in this physical body. But when I'm really aligned and coming from my source, I feel more blissful. And it can be really a little muddy because in the Gita it says, just because something is pleasurable doesn't mean it's good for you. And just because it's good for you doesn't mean it's pleasurable. But if I come from a place of living from my soul, knowing that going through that experience that I did and still am, it may not always feel good, but on another level, it's the right thing. It's pleasurable. I don't know if that makes any sense to you because there's layers here, right?
I love that. I love that. And I agree with you. You know, I think, I mean, I come from a teaching where Myrtle Fillmore healed herself of tuberculosis. And I believe that maybe that's their journey, that's their path. But I don't think that illness or disease is something that is shameful or we need to heal, because I do believe that it's there for a purpose. And what you said about it's the response, it's about how we respond to things and how we internalize it and how we work through those emotions. I think it's all that is the spiritual experience. And so to view it as an opportunity and to share that, I think is wonderful. I think that's, very spiritual. And to me, it's a belief that I have as well, because so I've said this before, because shit becomes fertilizer.
No mud, no lotus. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a better way of saying it. No mud, no lotus. Yeah, so true.
Yeah. So, like and the other thing too, once my body becomes healthier, all the things that have been ignored in my physical human body, now that it's stronger, they all have risen up. For example, the shoulder, my muscles, they're all torn. I can't lift my arm. My foot has a ruptured or dislocated permanent metatarsal joint. So it's like all these physical things are rising up now because I have more strength and energy to deal with them. But also, that's where I would say the F word, because come on, give me a break. I've just been through this and now there's more coming down the pipe. So that brings me to, okay, what is my definition of thriving in uncertainty? And for me, like in the Gita, it says, okay, you can't control your outcome or your outcomes, but you can control your action. So start to take action. And so my definition of thriving in uncertainty is maintaining a stable state of well-being while improving on my progress. And then to unpack that a little bit, it's having a peaceful and contented heart and mind and making progress. So making progress is the action. And I ask myself, well, and it's also like getting all my ducks in a row. What needs to happen today? But before that, and also what are my goals and visions for myself now in this new body, this new time of life, and it's not just cancer. It's just, we're always in a new stage of life or new situations. It's not just people dealing with an illness. There's so much uncertainty in the world in general and change. So that's basically my definition, is maintaining a stable state of well-being while improving on progress. and keeping them achievable, keeping the daily goals achievable, and anything else is a bonus. So, asking myself, well, what action can I take today? So because my body was just incredibly fatigued and lack of motivation, not just physically, but mentally, and it just sucked me dry of my motivation or enthusiasm or zest for life. So I learned to do my meditations laying down, listening to guided meditations, guided yoga nidras, which was really difficult for me because I've always been one to get out of bed early and go and do my practices. So I had to really surrender and accept a lot of these new ways of doing things and discover what the new way is. And I've also realized that surrender and acceptance, I think those two words can kind of go together. They don't mean that you're compliant, complacent, or passive. Basically, once one surrenders or accepts, it means you're open to possibilities, and I've let go of that inner struggle. So that's something that I've really been, working with is more about the surrendering and accepting and be open to possibilities. Like those three things go together. And then there's a way forward, to cultivate that inner stability in uncertainty. And for me, it's through the body, it's breathing, connecting with my body, because it felt like before all this happened, I had all the pieces of the puzzle and everything was whole. And then everything got blown apart. So now to put the puzzles back so I can be whole again. And what does that look like or feel like? Because everything's so different.
Yeah. And to practice those, to me, they're spiritual concepts, everything you've spoken about, surrender, acceptance, the things that you worked through and how you worked through them. I think a lot of us who, I'm going to say, those of us who are fairly healthy, take some of that for granted. And we don't really understand what it means until we put in a position that this is the work we have to do. Whatever that looks like, it doesn't have to be cancer, it can be anything else. But I think I think it's human nature that until we face certain things, we can talk about it, we can understand it sort of intellectually, and maybe, yes, we've worked on, having those principles within us. And yet, do we really until we're given the chance to practice them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so what you've said about delight and opportunity is where I see that being the experience, the benefit that it's brought you to where you are now.
Right. Yeah. Is your partner Larry on a similar journey, Elizabeth?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. However, he will listen to everything I say, and he will support me in any way that he's able to. But Wonderful. He is not into my woo-woo stuff.
Well, we can talk more about that in a moment, because it is time to take our halfway break. And don't go away. We'll be back with more of our conversation with Elizabeth in just a moment.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought, Philadelphia. Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral. Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living, Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you. Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk, Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Unity of Garden Park, New Thought Philadelphia, the Sunshine Cathedral, Unity of Savannah, and the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.
Well, welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. And we're excited to pick up with Elizabeth. Mark had asked a question about her partner, Larry, being on the same page. And Elizabeth, you just started sharing that you're absolutely not. So how do you navigate that with him?
Okay, I'm going to rephrase that. I might have been a little too overzealous there. He is tuned into energy work. He goes for acupuncture, different things like that. He practices yoga, but only when I'm teaching, which is still good. And he has his own way of spirituality. So I'm very right brain and very expansive and maybe a little bit out there. And he is the Capricorn, very grounded, he's into the science. So really it makes for a good combination, even though it's frustrating sometimes because I'll say, well, this, but then he wants to see it from his smartwatch. For instance, he's wonderful. We went to a sound bath meditation, and even though we know for years the benefits of the nervous system and on the heart and everything, he really got it when he could look at his smartwatch on his wrist and say, oh my gosh, my heart is in the resting level. So it's an interesting journey. I wouldn't want to be with anyone else at this stage of life. We do have lots to talk about, and he helps to keep me grounded as well. Because I can be quite expansive, but I'm pretty grounded as well, though, too, now.
That's wonderful. Yeah, you complement each other is what I'm hearing, and I can relate to that. It's interesting because my husband says he doesn't have anything to do with this, but then he'll make comments, or I'll ask him to listen to something I've written, and he'll give me feedback. And he says, and we know all that. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, it's very interesting. But generally, he just goes on with his life, and I do mine when it comes to this kind of thing, the spiritual side of things.
Yeah. I think what I do appreciate is that he is open to having conversation. And he has the courage to show up also for conversations that may be quite challenging.
That's great.
So
yeah,
I appreciate that. Yeah.
It makes a huge difference. Yeah.
I think that's why these conversations, these real conversations, are important to share, because it's not like, okay, you don't have a mini Elizabeth for a partner. We don't go around with these mini me's, and life is fantastic because we all agree on the same thing. And I think having these conversations is important as spiritual teachers.
And students.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we all teach and we're all students. So yeah, I think life would be very boring if we all agreed with each other. It might sound nice, but maybe for a day or two.
Now, I know my partner, he would say he agrees to everything because I always get my way, but I beg to differ.
Yeah. So, yeah, where do you want to go next, Elizabeth?
Well, I just wanted to say a few of the things that I do, that help me with thriving in uncertainty or navigating it better. And that is, I start my day with an intention. After I do some body full meditations, laying in bed now, and then I like to just ask myself, what's possible for me today? And really opening up to possibilities. And sometimes it's possible for me to experience a walk. It's very simple. It's not rocket science here. It's very simple, but it helps create a foundation, I found, or asking myself, it's really about a lot of self-reflection and being curious, like asking myself, okay, what small action can I do today that will support my well-being? And then whatever comes up for that, I like to create the inner stability. So I do that, one, through meditation, but also asking myself, okay, there's so much uncertainty. What am I certain about?
Wow.
Because if I can connect with what I'm certain about in this moment, like I'm certain, okay, I'm in this body. I'm certain I'm going to go brush my teeth. I'm certain I'm going to go have a shower, like very simple, because that's sometimes I can only deal with bite-sized pieces. I'm certain that I'm going to eat something healthy today. So what am I certain of? And that kind of has helped me, that's helped me navigate through feeling so lost and like, what now? Because everything is so different. And also really being present, like with the inquiry again of what am I feeling? What is true for me now? And I had to really work at this the other day. Last week, I was having a really difficult day, and nothing was working. All of my tools, nothing was working. So I just had to sit, or maybe I walked and just asked, okay, what am I feeling? Like I didn't even know how to eat that day. These are the things the waves that come up and paralyze me. So, and partly because my mind is saying, well, you got to eat breakfast. It's breakfast time. Yeah, but I'm not hungry. So for me, it was really cultivating. Okay, Elizabeth, what are you feeling like now? Well, I just want celery juice. not everybody's cup of tea, but it's something I do for my well-being. And that's all I wanted. I didn't want to eat any breakfast. It's delicious, actually. And it's beautiful and green, and then I didn't eat my breakfast until like after lunch. But that's just a way that I'm learning, like, what's true for me now. Just because everybody says, oh, I better eat breakfast now, but I wasn't wanting breakfast. So it's these simple things of what is true for me now. And I think that's, I think we can all use that just to be more in touch with what we're feeling. Like, how often have I said something that I'm not really feeling at all, just out of a knee-jerk reaction? So the more that I can take time to feel what's true for me in this moment, then it gives me the opportunity to just allow those grooves in my brain to get a little deeper with being in tune with my body, myself, my heart, my soul.
Yeah. I think that we should be like that from the day we are born. But we get so conditioned, right, by society and the expectations and our family, and it's no fault of them, because they were conditioned and their parents were conditioned, and with these expectations of you must eat your dinner, or you're not going to get pudding, and I even see some of this with my son, and it's like, just let them be. But I think as adults, we have some of us, I'll speak for, have a lot of issues because of that upbringing, with that education. There's no fault of anything or anyone. It just is. And then there's a lot of undoing, a lot of dismantling stuff when we're older, because we don't understand, why do I feel this way? Why do I get so insecure in this situation? Those kinds of things. And in internal family systems, and I can't remember his name, Richard Hawkins? No, David Hawkins. Anyway, it's really about going into yourself and calling the parts of you forward that are feeling this way, and exploring that, because we all have different parts in us, and where does that come from? And so how do we let that go? So I think it's very wise, and I think hopefully one day we'll evolve to recognizing that we have everything we need inside of us. We don't actually need someone else outside of us to tell us who we are and how to be. I think love is very important. And yes, sometimes for safety's sake, we're there. And I think we could be doing things a different way. So, yeah, I agree.
And, I think different stages of life too. Like, I mean, as I said, I had a real grasp on who I was before, and my inner connection and living with my soul in this body. And then through these last few years, like being this whole different body, and I mentioned this before in the other podcast about treatment, felt like everything was stripped away and all that left was my essence. So, but really, isn't it wonderful? Like in yoga, every time we begin a new class, it's like coming with the beginner's mind, or each new day with the beginner's mind. And there's such value there, because if we can let go of all those old beliefs, those old conditionings, but first we have to identify them, and being present, being curious, where's this coming from? Is this what I'm really feeling, or is it my mind telling me this, that I should, and I don't even like the word should in my vocabulary, and then be present, be curious, and living in possibility. There was one other thing I wanted to say. I'm just going to get, because this keeps bubbling up for me. I'm feeling AI gets a really hard rap these days by a lot of people. And I need to put a little shout out there to AI for me, because before this year, I did all kinds of research on finding my diagnosis, which what the diagnosis is chemical damage to the bladder, the lining of the bladder, a chemical damage. I couldn't find anything on anything what I was going through. But now we're in 2026 with AI and ChatGPT, which I know you got to know what you're doing. But for me, it has helped me in educating myself to ask educated questions to my surgeon, to my doctor, to my, other like I put in my situation and what is a good question to ask for my situation. And it's been giving me really good advice.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to put that out there,
Mm-hmm.
because I know I've said it to a few people in my circles, and they were surprised because they've only heard or had bad experiences. I think you have to really be a free thinker and have a good bullshit barometer to know what's right and wrong for you. Like I check in with myself, and does this resonate with me, this question? And the questions I found have been really helpful for me to get clear before I have my appointment with my urologist or my doctors. So I just wanted to say, I don't know if any of you have had any experience like that.
Well, I do use ChatGPT. I've just started, I haven't really delved into Copilot. But yeah, and sometimes ChatGPT will say something and I'll challenge it and it says, oh, you're right. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. But, or I'll say, you said this, or you didn't give me what I asked for, whatever the case may be. But I do see the value in it. I really do. And I think that it's not going away. So, we need to get used to it. I do think that just like anything in life, there's a dark side and a light side. And it's the same with that. It's the same with the internet. It's the same with all these other technology things that have come into our lives. So to be able to use it and to use it wisely and to use it with right intent, I think is what's important.
Yeah. And keeping the human aspect of it too, so that it's not a prescribed or whatever that's coming out of one's mouth, right? But I think it certainly has value giving knowledge, that's for sure. It is 10 minutes before the end. No, is it 10 minutes before the end of the show? And Elizabeth, I want to have an experience that you suggested that you might share with us today. And so if you're still up for it and the timing is right, please feel free to share.
Okay, well, I thought I would just give a little grounding practice that we could do, and it'll be brief. And I just invite you to, it will be similar to a meditation where we go inward and feel our bodies and our breath. And it's just a little breathing exercise within our body. So I invite you, and if you wish, you can take off your eyeglasses and close your eyes. If it feels comfortable for you to close your eyes, and just feel yourself sit here in your room. Feel the support beneath you. Feel your feet on the ground. And then taking a deep breath in through the nose if you're able to. And just let it out. Let go. And on your next inhalation, allow that to draw you into this moment. And as we close our outer eyes, we open our inner eye. And just imagine as if you're breathing in through your heart space. Inhale in through the middle of your chest. And as you exhale, exhale down, down through your legs, ankles, and feet. Next, inhalation in through the heart center. Exhale down through the legs and feet. And just continue to do this in your own rhythm. Inhaling through the heart, feeling an openness, expansiveness. Exhaling down through the legs, ankles, feet. And with each exhalation, connecting with the groundedness, the stability beneath you. Each inhalation, opening, expanding your heart space. Exhaling down, connecting with that stability, connecting to earth. And from this deeply rooted place, you may feel trust, ease, and maybe even some excitement as you move into your day. As you inhale, feeling your heart open and expansive. Exhaling down, feeling grounded, rooted. And continue with this breathing, this focusing. Just like a tree, the trunk is strong, the roots go deep, the branches reach up towards the light or a new day. The leaves and the branches are flexible, blowing with the wind. And just knowing that any uncertainty you may feel is actually the day gifting you infinite possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
What is possible for me today? What is possible for me today? And then gradually allowing your breath to be a little deeper. Allow your awareness to rise up to the surface. And allow your eyes to softly open. Coming back into this room, this time, this space, this podcast. And thank you for sharing that sacred space with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a little sample of how we can press the pause button in our day or the morning, the night, whenever. Just press the pause button and take a few breaths into the heart. Feel the openness and then ground down through the legs.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I actually felt my feet grounded, like they felt more, I don't know, heavier, like they were really on the ground. Yeah, that was great. Thank you. And how long do you do that for normally?
It depends. It depends on my energy level and my schedule in the day. But if ideally, I would like to do it, a meditation with grounding and working with healing my body, probably 30 minutes minimum, 40 minutes. It all depends. It depends on how I'm feeling. But for anyone who says they don't have time, I invite them to just take time. For me, it's giving myself permission and valuing myself. I feel with this, we're coming into we're in the year of the fire horse. So I think things are going to be galloping really fast. I feel this year it's really important that we're grounded and that we're connected to our inner wisdom more than ever, just so we can navigate through the different adventures that may be coming our way.
Yeah, I agree. I've been listening to some of that stuff as well. And apparently March, July, and November are key months this year. And it's going to go quickly. And it's not going to be easy. And, you know, that's part of going through change.
I like that you gave us a little sample, Elizabeth. I'm grateful for that. And what I heard Cheryl said, that even just in those few moments, she felt her feet were grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And so you talked about time. If somebody is saying or feeling they don't have time, there's an impact on just a few minutes. So I hope people will allow themselves that few moments of time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I just,
go ahead.
Sorry, Elizabeth, for someone who often says to myself, I don't have time, or whatever the case may be, I know that I can make the time. You know, it's just an excuse. So I think that's probably for everyone. We can all make at least half an hour for ourselves. I mean, what's more important than that? If we're not working on ourselves, how can we be there for others?
Well, and you know, I feel the world really needs people that are rested, people that are calm, people that have a deeper connection to the earth, you know, through grounding. I notice I see so many people, and I catch myself sometimes, my shoulders get rounded and I can feel kind of constricted, you know, whether it's a wave of fear or whatever, you know, maybe someone said something or whatever. But if I can just breathe in and feel that expansiveness through my heart center, you know, this is where we give and receive love and peace. And it's amazing if you study, you know, Heart Math Institute, just the electric magnetic field that comes from our heart, but yet at the same time, stay grounded in our body, down through our legs, our feet, feel the earth. You know, going walking in the woods and see what the trees, what their message is. This is something that I do.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, trees, they're so amazing. We're learning so much more, right, about trees, about plants, about animals, and just how connected everything is.
Absolutely. We watched a video yesterday on animals and the humor that they brought to us, and you know, connection. And I see that we have less than 3 minutes left to the show. Elizabeth, what would you like to leave our viewers with? Any particular message? Or
I think I would like to leave the takeaways of navigating uncertainty. What is it here? Uncertainty and possibility go together. Be grounded, find stability, live with possibility, be present. How do you feel? Gratitude. We didn't even speak of gratitude because so much of us are aware of that already, but it does actually change the nervous system when we practice it. And then the another one too is connection with community, connection with others. I find that's really important. What I like to do too at the end of the day, I like to just ask myself, what's one thing that I did well today?
Good question.
So living life more consciously.
Yeah, and that also helps us appreciate ourselves. That's great. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Wow.
Cheryl, take away.
I've just, this has been wonderful. You know, I mean, what did you say? Uncertainty is possibility. Like all these things, I think are just so true. And I'm going to listen again so I can write some of that stuff down that you said in the middle as well. So it's been fabulous. Thank you so much for joining us today, Elizabeth. It's really been a wonderful, deep conversation, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Thank you for having me as a guest. It's been fun and informative and fun to chat and have these conversations.
Wonderful.
Deja's going to take us out of the studio and just stay with us because we can be behind the scenes.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
See you next
See you
week.
next